Post offices are the lifeblood of many communities up and down the land. Offering so much more than just posting letters and parcels, it's no wonder there are over 10,000 franchisees who choose to run post offices in their local communities.
But due to a technical glitch on the accounting software, hundreds of postmasters were wrongfully charged with false accounting, leading them to have criminal records. After a decade-long battle, 39 convictions have now been overturned.
Joining us now to discuss the greatest miscarriage of justice ever in Britain is leading trade unionist and communication workers union representative Mole Meade. Mole, thank you for coming on board the Sputnik.
Hi.
Mole, just for the sake of our viewers who don't know about this story, could you go back to the beginning, tell us what's happened and how we've reached this point?
About 14 years ago, we were made aware surreptitiously that there was a problem with the accounting software for Post Office Limited, as a CWU that was. And what happened subsequently was that they denied it, and they denied it for many, many years. And in the last few weeks, the High Court in Britain have said, no, it did happen. And that's where we're up to now. And those 39 people have been vindicated, fortunately. Unfortunately, there are some people who, over this 14, 15-year period, or however long it went on for, because we still haven't got to the bottom of that figure yet, took their own lives. And we're never going to get those people back. And how do you sort that out? How do you repay that? What we're hoping for as the Communication Workers Union is that there will be a full inquiry into this. And a lot of people have got to be held accountable here. You know, all the governments between then and now, including the one we've currently got, have got to be accountable because they're the owners, they're the bastions of this industry, an industry that's 500 years old.
Now, you talk about blame and you talk about, inquiries needing to happen. Who is to blame, do you think, over this? Is it the government for taking their eye off the ball with the post office? Is it senior executives at the post office? Or is it someone else?
Well, those two groups of people that you've just mentioned are the decision makers. They decide what happens to the post office, whether it be the board of POL or whether it be government ministering themselves. They're the decision makers. So they are responsible for this. There can't be anybody else. It has to be them. They have to take full responsibility for it. As you well know, the length and breadth of this country, we have campaigned for years to stop Crown offices from being closed, let alone sub-post offices. We're down to about 11,000 outlets nationwide. People are struggling to get into post offices now to be able to have the service. Now, let's be quite frank here. 8 years ago nearly, they broke up Royal Mail and Post Office. What? Why? Why do that? The Royal Mail's got no way of having any sort of high street presence anymore. We're in a situation in this country where our government has decided they want to invest in the high street and yet at the same time tear the heart out of it by doing away with Crown offices.
Well, you and I have campaigned together in the past to try and save Crown offices, and it's always well-supported fight in whatever town it may be. That's a universal thing that you and I have both found. But Paula Venables, who for many years was CEO of Post Office Limited, has today announced that she's stepping back from her roles in the church and also from the boards of organisations she's on and companies she's on, like Morrison's and Dunelm. Obviously, Paula Venables was in charge at the height of this saga, when it was becoming clearer by the day that there were issues with the Horizon accounting software. Is that enough for the victims, for Venables to have stepped down from those positions?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not just the CEO's responsibility, is it? It's the chairman's as well. I mean, let's be quite frank. The chairman would be the person that gives the guidance to the CEO in the first place. So maybe the chairman needs to be brought to account as well.
What about the accounting software company itself? Have they taken up any responsibility or explanation?
No, there must be stuff going on in the background that I'm not privy to at the moment, but I'd be highly surprised if someone's not looking over their shoulder going, well, hang on a minute, it's down to you as well. You know, I'd be very surprised if that's not being tabled as we speak in smoke-filled rooms, perhaps.
Right. So in the past 15 years, all these hundreds of postmasters who were wrongfully accused of fraud, basically, their lives have been ruined to the point of suicide, as you mentioned, and imprisonment. And the settlement gave out 20 million to share amongst the 39 victims. Is that the case? Is that correct, Mo?
What I understand is that it's not a huge amount of money that they end up getting, because by the time all the legal fees and stuff like that are paid out, I don't know the finite figure of exactly what individuals will get. But even if it was 50, even if it was, I was about to say that, even if it had another note on it and it was 200 million, I still don't think it would be enough to replace someone's freedom, to replace someone's life. I just don't know what that price is, but what we can't allow to happen is this poorly mismanaged, brilliant industry that I've been so privileged to work for over 30 years, be chopped up and put into mincemeat by meat-packing glitterati that really don't deserve to be employed, let alone hold positions of responsibility.
So are we now to expect, following this victory, are we now to expect the other hundreds to also take up the case?
I would have thought so, yeah. I mean, if I was one of those people watching now and reviewing the situation, I think I'd be making some phone calls to find out where I stood.
Well, look, the Post Office Limited have said that they're very sorry for the distress caused and that they'll work with these sub-postmasters to try and put things right. Obviously, in some cases, as you say, very sadly, these sub-postmasters have either passed away or indeed, in some cases, taken their own life. But what do you think the Post Office can do for those who are still with us to make things right? Is there anything they can do, do you think?
I think the first thing they can do is put their hands up and be grown up and decent about it. I mean, last year I was giving evidence with Andy Fury, the national officer, and it was very, very clear that Post Office Limited had the information days before some of these convictions took place, and they didn't give it over. They also, for some strange reason, decided that they were going to try and get the judge sacked in the original case, and they failed with that as well. So rather than keep wasting taxpayers' money by doing the wrong thing, I think it's now time to do the absolute right thing and start trying to address, in the best possible way you can, looking after these people moving forwards. Because at the end of the day, that's all we can do now. We can't do any more than make sure that it's been put right. Sorry. But I do genuinely think that these people have been wronged badly. There's been copious amounts of campaigning done over the years to try and prevent all of this from happening, and it's fell on deaf ears, conveniently. And we can't just blame the current government for this. We have to blame all the governments for the last 15 years at least, because it's down to them.
You and I know that the governments have tried to close down Crown post offices across the land successfully. The idea being that the government and post office don't need to run these branches directly. They can give them to these sub-postmasters. In light of this case and this saga that's gone on over the years, are there less people coming forward now to take out franchises with the post office? Do you think this will have a lasting reputational damage for the post office as a commercial prospect?
I think, generally speaking, the individuals that the customer, the public interfaces with are genuinely good, decent people who try to do the best for their customers or members of the public that come in, no matter whether they're a pauper or a lord. It doesn't matter. They all get treated the same. And I think that will be our saving grace. It will be that holds it all together. Will it be a brand damage limitation exercise? they can't limit this exercise. It's going to run its course. But I think, generally speaking, people are proud of their post offices. People understand that it's not the individual's fault that's behind the counter. It's the software that a grey person in a shady back room has implemented that's failed. And until we get to that place where I think genuinely that our brand will survive. It's 500 years old, like I told you. It needs to survive. It's a very important piece of our heritage in this country. And moreover, what's weird, I'll tell you what's strange, is that I do feel that the government are facing in both directions currently. That in one breath they're saying, well, we've got to reinvigorate the high street. And then in the very next breath, they're closing Crown offices on Wednesday of this week. You know, so they're facing in two directions. If you're going to support the retail arm of our society, i.e. the high street, if you're going to do that, which is great, and that'll create jobs and employment and so on, you've got to make sure you've got a beating heart in that high street. So we're asking for a full review, a complete judicial review of the whole shooting match within Post Office Limited, because we believe the Communication Workers Union, we believe that it should be more about workers' cooperatives now. And moreover, we need to make sure that we provide the services in perpetuity for the communities that we represent.
Well, Mole, from all of us here, thank you for what you and your colleagues at the CWU are doing on this case, and indeed to try and preserve post offices up and down the land. So until I see you on the stump again at some point somewhere, thank you very much indeed for joining us.